What's up, guys? Welcome to Aftermath TV. We've got our wins and fails for you ready to go from the past week, whether it be from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, whatever it may be. And Jimmy Corderas, you're going to start us off with your win.
Oh, my win. I'm like this Intercontinental title tournament, not only because the matchups have been great so far, and I like what I'm seeing in the brackets, but it's also, trying to prognosticate, looking forward to possible matchups and looking forward to, the hamster being on the wheel and having an idea of when they finally do crown a brand new Intercontinental champion. What will the former champion have to say about this whole thing? Because he did not technically lose the championship to anyone. It was taken from him. So the possibilities of stories intertwining and stuff like that when we somewhat get back to some kind of normalcy, I like where this can go, and I'm very optimistic that this is going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, it's so historic. The first Intercontinental Championship was won via a tournament. I believe a 27-day tournament in Brazil, where Pat Patterson emerged the first Intercontinental champion. So anytime there's a vacated title, it's only fitting that there's a tournament to decide the big winner.
Not only that, but I love tournaments. I love the original King of the Ring. I almost think this tournament should be run in one night because that shows how good of a wrestler you are. My hamster's on the wheel in a lot of ways because the matchups we're getting going into this are all awesome matches, and it's kind of a pick'em no matter who you've got. My win, Jimmy, was from the tournament on Friday night. It was Daniel Bryan against Drew Gulak. The two of them put on, I don't know if this makes any sense at all, a wrestling match on a wrestling show. And it was awesome. And it was 2 minutes shorter than Elias and Baron Corbin, which went all over the place and ended with a guitar shot. But that was a wrestling match. And they shook hands before and they shook hands after. Two of the best doing what they do because they were fighting for, oh my God, reasons.
Jimmy?
Yes.
Sorry, I want you to talk about this as well because I believe you mentioned this in your Ref and Rant. So it's perfect that Nug feels the same way, that you liked the fact that Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan put on a pretty good show for the WWE universe.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're living in an era now where everybody's trying to raise the bar, but raise the bar without a reason to raise the bar, just to be flashy. And it's like a big fireworks display. Boom, 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 boom. And there's no substance to it. There's no build. This was a great wrestling match. When people are complaining that their sports entertainment has kind of evolved into more entertainment as opposed to presented as an actual sport, and then you actually present it as such and people go, oh, wow, that's different.
Yeah.
And, I really enjoyed it. And with the Baron Corbin stuff with Elias, I'm okay with that too, because it's like a variety show. You get two hosses fighting, you get two technical guys putting on a clinic is exactly what they did. They put on a clinic.
I've noticed this trend with Drew Gulak that every single time he has a match, we rave about it. We think that, it's so good. I feel like he's, such a great superstar. And Anthony, you and I had the opportunity, remember at the signing in Toronto at SummerSlam, to hang out with him. And he's an even cooler guy. Like, he's actually hilarious.
Very funny.
Hanging out with Anthony and Drew was like one of the funnier experiences that I've had.
Yeah, I got 2 points with this. Is one, Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak are two guys that have a very similar outlook towards professional wrestling. They enjoy a similar style, that catch-can, old school hooking, grappling mentality. And often you have to work with what you have. So if you have a guy who's a high flyer, you got to make the match fit with your preferred skill set and their skill set. And, anyway, rarely, and that's why they ask, to work with each other, because they go, okay, this is another guy that wrestles like me, views wrestling like me, and we're going to get to do it the way we like it. And then, the result is it's awesome. And like to what Jimmy was saying, the entertainment, the backstage stuff and all the whatever, everything, that's supposed to be to accentuate and support the nucleus, which is wrestling. And now it seems like the storylines are the most important thing, and the wrestling is just there to support and spice up the storylines, but it has to be the other way around. It's supposed to be sports. It's supposed to be competition. And, you know, the ultimate goal is to be a champion in your sport. And then everything else is the backstabbing and this and that and the storylines to ultimately win. If your ultimate goal is not to be victorious, it's like, imagine in hockey. If the Leafs didn't care about winning, they just wanted to destroy the lives of the Boston Bruins. It just doesn't make sense, you know? I mean,
well, it kind of does.
Well, I think Leafs fans would argue that one.
And really quickly, and now you probably agree with this, and Anthony, I wasn't there, obviously, at the Performance Center after this match was over, but I could just imagine them getting back to Gorilla and getting a standing ovation.
By two people.
By both guys that were there.
Also, let's not forget, those two guys are two of the best wrestlers, actual grapplers they've got, but also two of the most entertaining guys they got. Daniel Bryan's very entertaining, and let's not forget Drew's PowerPoint presentations.
Well, it's funny, too, because they're not even like, neither of them were super high-level collegiate wrestlers. They wrestled growing up. But, I mean, we have Olympians that wrestle, but somehow when it comes to this style, because it's not exactly amateur wrestling now just at the professional level. There's different techniques, different rules. You know, there's strikes, there's, you know, the pins are 3 seconds, not a flash touch like in amateur wrestling. So even though they don't have that pedigree, they were able to become some of the best sports entertainment grapplers.
Oh, Nug, excellent win. Look at all of us go off on some kind of tangent. That was a good one. That was awesome. Anthony, you're up next, and yours has to deal with Seth Rollins.
Yes. I've been critical, I think, once or twice of Seth Rollins's mic skills. And I just saw something last night, and this is the thing. So his eyes were lying to me. His eyes were out of character. His eyes weren't matching the things that were coming out of his mouth. But last night, the eyes were dialed in, man. He was in character to a point where I was literally staring at his face going, wow, this is the best version of him I've ever seen on the mic. It's taken a few weeks to kind of really, I don't know what he's been studying or what he's been looking at to get a reference point, but he's zoomed in, to quote the infamous Jimmy Superfly Snuka. He's zoomed in, brother. He's zoomed in.
It's interesting you say that because everybody, not everybody, but a lot of fans out there automatically assume that once a WWE superstar assumes a persona, that automatically they get it and they know what they're doing and you know, they've got it figured out. And they don't realize that it takes time to develop a persona. It takes time to, you know, absorb and find out what works, what doesn't, what resonates. And especially now in a time where you don't have that live audience present to feed off of, it's very difficult to get that feel. But I do agree with you. I like this version of Seth Rollins. I don't know if it's the best Seth Rollins I've seen so far, but I am being entertained by it. And there's he's pretty much figured out this Monday Night Messiah thing, I think.
Yeah, Jimmy has it right, man. It took me. Sorry, Nug. I know you're about to start.
No worries.
It took me time to even develop my aftermath on-screen thing because I played the character Santino for so long. I've never really been myself, and then as I started doing commentary, it took me like a couple years to dial that in. So he's doing it a lot faster than that.
And you're gonna get there. The thing that Seth did last night was the same thing Randy Orton did earlier in the night, is he just looked right down the barrel to the people at home. He was talking to one person. He was talking to Rey Mysterio, but it was all of us. And he was lying to all of us, and we knew it. And he was lying to Rey Mysterio, and we knew it because his eyes were dead while he was saying all this stuff. It was creepy. It was looking into our souls, and it worked.
I think looking into your soul is the best way to put it. Because I don't know. I felt that way too. I don't know if it was like the extreme close-up or whatever it was, but he was very convincing. He felt comfortable. It was genuine. I agree. I like Seth Rollins. You know, I'm sometimes the little whiny, like when he got whiny, I didn't love it, but I really have no problem with him. I think he's an all-around really, really talented superstar. So
yeah,
and I'm happy for him and Becky. So I really have nothing bad to say.
So he's gonna be a papa.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so it's interesting you brought up Mike Skills, Anthony, because that's where mine has to deal with Kairi Sane and Asuka on Monday Night Raw. Listen, I know I'm talking about Asuka every week, but between her and Kairi Sane last night, I was like, this is fun. I was borderline for a moment worried that Kairi Sane was going to turn on Asuka. Like when she was just hanging out behind her, I'm like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. I love you guys, stay together. And then when Kairi Sane, whips out the flute or the recorder and starts playing, I was just entertained. I was happy for both of them. I was laughing. My friend texted me and was like, how awesome was that? So, I know that I'm not the only one who feels that way. I can only imagine like everyone out there who are big Asuka or Kairi Sane fans, appreciated that. And then you get Nia Jax coming out and beating up Kairi Sane when she was playing the, it's just, I love this whole storyline, and I just need Asuka as much as I can. Like Asuka for me is carrying the show right now, and the more Asuka I get, and the more Kairi Sane I get, and the more flute playing I get, I'm happy. So that's my win.
Yeah, it's funny. I lived in Japan for a year, and I grew up doing judo. Actually, the first time I went to Japan was 1992. And anyway, I've always been fascinated by Japanese culture. My second father was a Japanese man, my sensei. And in Japan, because I had a couple channels on my television, like the antenna, right? So one of the main channels in the daytime TV, it's all comedy shows. And so I'm seeing glimpses of where she's getting this type of comedy from. And it's like these funny talk shows where they make them do these games, and it's silly and it's fun. And there's a lot to the Japanese culture, and I'm enjoying seeing it's nice to see that she's bringing it to North America, and it's also funny here. We can't enjoy Japanese sitcoms because we don't know what they're saying, but somehow she's able to mesh the two, and it's really good to see.
It's like I always say, the WWE is a variety show. You get different levels of entertainment. Like we talked about earlier, we had the Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan match was a Matt classic. And not saying that Asuka is not capable of performing like that, because she absolutely can, but her niche is not that right now. Her niche is to entertain in a different way. And what she's doing right now is fun. And there's nothing wrong with having fun on television. Everybody, again, too many people complain about certain little things and say, well, that's not right for her because Asuka is so good in the ring. Yes, she is, but is it so bad that she's also entertaining us right now and making us laugh?
Right.
And it just shows how versatile she is. Not everyone can do that. Like, to me, that's, you could have someone who's amazing in the ring, but doesn't have the ability to entertain that way. And that's what I mean when all of this started, Asuka still, audience or no audience, has delivered every single Monday night. And I can't get enough of it.
We've been watching these no audience shows for however many weeks, and my wife watches with me on Mondays, or sort of watches. And she last night said, I would watch an hour of an Asuka talk show. And I was like, yeah, we all would. So, more Asuka is great. And I want to say Nia Jax is the worst person in the world for interrupting a recorder concert. So mad at her.
Yeah, if you look at the best guys in the last while, like the Attitude Era, Stone Cold was hilarious.
Yeah.
The Rock was hilarious. DX was hilarious. I mean, it just goes on and on. Even guys like JBL, who, he was hilarious in the ring.
And out of the ring.
And out of the ring. And even guys like Cena was often serious in the ring, but you have to have that underlying goofiness. And if you're too straight, unless it's Drew Gulak, who is too straight, but he's using it the right way.
Perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, there has to be layers to you, and one of them has to be a good sense of humor.
True.
Continuing on the theme of Mike Skills, we're now entering our fails, and Anthony, you're going to start us off.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm watching Nia talk, and I'm like, this is like a grade 7 school play or something. Like I just, she's so awesome in the ring. And okay, if she's not good, that's fine. Don't give her the mic then. I mean, she's not doing herself any favors. She's not adding to the program. She is a destroyer. She's a beautiful, smart, intelligent, athletic woman. She's very good at destroying people. Let her do what she's good at. Or develop her behind the scenes and maybe, relaunch her when she's better, or even if is she even training or practicing, or is she just continuing to make the same her gestures? It's not good, man.
See,
she has a fun side to her too, with all the TikTok stuff she's doing. She's fun, but then that is really her. But it's not her. This attitude, rude, disrespectful. It's not good, man.
I hate to sound like the old timer, but there was an era back in the day when you had very talented superstars in the ring who struggled on the microphone, and to compensate for that, you had someone like a Bobby Heenan, you had someone like a classy Freddie Blassie, or a Lou Albano, or someone to
Slick.
The Doctor of Style. I mean, like, you had someone to speak for these people, and they just looked menacing and intimidating, which, Nia Jax can do.
Ooh, MVP should be her manager.
Aha.
It's not bad.
I like that.
It's not bad. Nia, I don't know what it is. Like, when she's in the ring, she has almost total control of what's going on in there because she's such a monster. And then every now and then she'll throw a move on somebody, and that person does not come out okay from it. Like last night when she threw Kairi Sane into the road case, I thought Kairi cracked her head on the corner of the road case because she did it without looking. She just threw her aside.
Yeah.
And so I sometimes, and I know she's got a bad rep sometimes for being a little dangerous, but that also plays into her being a monster, like being a destroyer. But I'd be fine if I never heard her talk again, because that woman who can destroy people grabs the mic and is like, I don't like what you're doing. And I'm like, who's this? It's the wrong voice coming out of her.
Yeah. It's like a Mike Tyson type thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Jimmy, we're going to go on to your fail.
Well, speaking of talking, I actually, I almost hate to sound apologetic for this, because Sonya Deville on Friday night was cutting a scathing promo against Mandy Rose. It was great. She showed some fire. She showed emotion. It just sounded like someone who was very angry. And then she said one word at the end.
Mm-hmm.
One word, the classic, I don't know if we're PG here, the B word, which rhymes with witch. And it just threw me completely out. It lost me, because yes, I get we live in an age where everybody's trying to be edgy and sound like really, that was unnecessary. You cut a great promo up until that point, and then that one word, for me, you lost me, because it just made it feel like,
You know how I feel about it, Jimmy. That word drives me crazy. It's said by both male and female superstars. It's completely unnecessary. It's something from the 90s that could go away anytime now. And if you don't know your opponent more than Sonya knows Mandy, you've got a ton of ammunition in your pocket waiting to fire at Mandy.
Better than
that. You're better than that. That word should never come up again, ever. I'm done with it. That and mentioning someone's family are the two things that apparently set off every superstar. Stop it on both accounts.
Yeah, I know. Like, what are they supposed to do? Like, what did you just call me? Sticks and stones.
I don't like the word, because I think it takes away from her entire message.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like all of a sudden that word comes up and that's all you remember. And you're like, why? Because Jimmy, like you said, it was an incredible promo. So
it was awesome.
I don't know. I don't like it either. Like, I think that there's just don't say it. Like, less is more. Like, we get the point. We understand what's happening.
The psychology behind the promo, and it builds up, and you exclamation point with it, with a word like that to kind of, but yeah, I mean, I imagine that's the thinking behind that. But
yeah, I guess, but at the same time, Dolph was standing right there, and you could see that he was getting into it, and you almost saw him deflate a little bit at the end, kind of like it was like that you wanted. What was that music? It was like when you hit the whammy. When you hit the whammy, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so my fail has to deal with Dana Brooke and Naomi. Listen, I love both of them. I really love what's happening with Dana Brooke. We talk about it all the time. I think that she's really improved, and I loved her in Money in the Bank. To me, I just wish this match on SmackDown was longer, and to me, this isn't really a fail, but I just can't get behind a match where you have two good guys fighting in the ring. I just am not like, you know what I mean? So I love both superstars. I wish they kind of battled it out longer. I think that there's going to be like a continuous storyline with these two female superstars. I don't know. I need a little bit more drama or some type of entertainment between them. I think it's because they're both good.
Well, that's the classic story in professional wrestling. You have good versus evil, or someone at least portraying somewhat evil. And again, I go back to the fact that there is no audience present for them to feed off in this. And so in this case, it hurts the home audience. Again, without an audience to play off of, it's difficult to kind of like tell those kind of stories. So.
Nug, your fail.
Oh yeah, I assume this entire Intercontinental title tournament is to see who fights Cesaro at the end, since he's not in the tournament. Why is Cesaro not in the tournament? It makes no sense. That guy is a superstar. He's the MVP of whatever show he's on. He's the guy we all think should be the Intercontinental champion. When they put the bracket up on Friday night, I heard the world go, "Hey, where's Cesaro?" Like, I heard that off my balcony. It was unanimous. I got text messages from people that said, "Where's Cesaro?" Like, it doesn't make any sense that guy's not in the tournament. He's been on every SmackDown. He's been at WrestleMania. He's been there the whole time, putting on awesome matches, and not even like a wild card entry into it. Like, it makes no sense.
Real quick here, this could have been Cesaro's Kofi Kingston moment.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's a lost opportunity by the WWE here.
Well, I'm going to be positive, and hopefully there's something that's going to play here. Something's going to happen, and
I hope so too.
And he's perfect for that title because, you know, even back in the day, it was kind of perceived that the bigger star is the heavyweight champion, but the best wrestler would be the Intercontinental champion. And there's an argument there that he's not the biggest, most popular superstar. But if you want to go and match up skills, Cesaro's in the conversation as the best in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was referred to back in the day as the Workhorse Championship.
The Workhorse, yes.
He's a workhorse, man. Put that strap on him.
All right, guys, that's it for our wins and fails. Let us know what you think. Tune in every single Friday on Sportsnet, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be talking about everything in WWE, and we love to communicate with you. So let us know what your win, what your fail is. Specifically, tweet at Jimmy Corderas, and we'll see. We'll see you guys.
Is that how you do it?
Hashtag. Yep, just like that. See you
Just
guys
like
on Friday.